guys, it's Cash, and today I'm going to bring this whole story full circle for you. Okay, so let's go back to 2016. I know what you guys are thinking. You're like, you have human trafficking, you have mind control, how does all this stuff come together with community mobbing, all that stuff? Well, I'm going to tell you. So in 2016, I had blown the whistle on a company that I knew of some shady things that were going on within it. With this, I believe that these people probably thought, well, if she knows that this is going on, what else does she know? So at this point, I didn't really think of this, but I'm thinking that my ex probably shouldn't have worn work boots to work, but should have worn a robe and bedroom slippers, because I am almost positive that there was some form of human trafficking going on in this building as well, for these people to come at me the way that they did. So in 2017, I come back to Miami. I'm living in this building, and the building next to me is, these people are working on it. This specific company is working on it. So I'm 900 West, they're 800 West. Now, it is my firm belief that a lot of the gang stalking, where they met maybe in the morning to do all this stuff, was done out of this building next to me. So a lot of the bike riders, a lot of the gang stalking activity was coming from this way to get me to walk this way. They didn't want me walking this way past the building, most likely to see that they were there working on that building. So you're gonna say, how do you know this? Well, one day I did walk the opposite direction. And a bike rider, a person on a bike, saw me and just stopped dead in his tracks. And I started to walk a little ways up to the doors, and I just saw people scatter and run back into the building. And so that's what led me to believe that that's where a lot of the gang stalking activity was coming from. So on my way back from this walk, there was a bag of trash placed on the sidewalk full of glass, let me tell you. So these people's safety protocols were pretty much trash. So I'm walking, and I picked up the bag of trash. That's how I knew it was full of glass. I could feel the glass moving around in there. And I picked it up, and I walked to in front of the building to set it in front of the trash can. And as I did this, the whole, there's guys on scaffolding, everything, turned to look at me. And this guy's hanging on to his rope, his whatever. It's really not funny. And a guy came in a mask from around the thing and aggressively walked towards me. So, and then I just dropped the bag of trash and continued walking towards my apartment. But, so that was something that I believe was the reason to get me away from walking past that building, because there was some things that had happened that they thought that I might have had something to do with, and it just wasn't the case. Their safety protocols were just pretty whack. There's actually video footage of these people transferring steel beams from balconies where people are walking underneath. I would go and visit this dude and go to the beach, and there would be just buckets of concrete just falling off the side of the buildings. So the safety protocols for these people was just not very good. So I just think that they were looking for a patsy or somebody to blame anything on, and it just so happened to be me because of what I knew, or what they feared that I knew about these people. So, and this whole situation brought people into my life. Over the summer, I met a certain individual, and he most likely knew about this whole thing. He was trying to take care of me with his Jewish Masonic wizard magic. I don't know. But I knew this guy was up to something because we went to a bar. He came down to visit me after the summer where we were talking or whatever. And then he came down to visit me. And we went to this bar and I met this guy who, you know, was pretty nice. He was asking me questions about my business. He handed me a business card, and I look at the name on the business card, and it is the same name of somebody that I knew in Chicago. A cop from Chicago. So it's John, or his name was basically the same, but 2 letters in the last name were replaced. So I found that to be kind of triggering, and after that I was like, okay, how am I going to get rid of this guy? I don't want to spend any more time with him. So I was going to create a scene at a strip club, Scarlett's. I don't know what I was going to do. I was just going to act like extremely, like I was going to try to like get up on the stage just to embarrass him so he wouldn't want to spend any more time with me and while he was there. And it just so happened all I had to do was return nachos to the kitchen, and he got upset with me over that and then tried to make me jealous with some dancer, and that's when I got out and never really talked to that guy again. I was cordial after that, but I knew that he had some kind of involvement in this whole thing after that day. But yeah, what else happened? So 2018, and this is related to the community mobbing. 2018, they tried to poison my dog. This was mid-2018. I came home from work. My dog, probably about 6 months old, 7 months old at this time. I came home, there was poop all over the floor with blood, just poop and blood, and he was regular, like it wasn't anything like that, like he would be sick or anything. So there was poop with blood all over the floor, and he was just like shaken up. Like, I don't know if they beat him and scared the crap out of him or what happened, but they did something to my dog that specific night. And I had a girl that worked with me at this time, and this is where I knew that the people in the building across from me were doing something as well. Like, I had kind of had that feeling before, but this was like affirmed to me that was the case. So I was just kind of watching her demeanor and how she was acting, and she's like, all right, well, I gotta go. When she left, I watched her out the blinds. She looked over to the left where this building was and shook her head no. So I didn't really know what that was for. I didn't say anything to her about it because I wanted to keep her around, because I could get like little pieces of information of like what was going on from this person. But after that point, it kind of put 3 different people on the radar for me. There was a guy that would always go out on his balcony, an older gentleman that would go out on his balcony, smoke cigarettes. Then there was another gentleman whose car, remember there was a car parked in my path on the sidewalk? His apartment was also facing mine. That was the guy that drove the car that parked the car in my path. So there was him, and then there was another gentleman that was always recording things and, you know, had cameras. So I knew there was like some element of recording going on from across the way. I just didn't know exactly from where. So they were watching me and I was watching them, basically, is what was going on. And it was like the whole neighborhood knew about it. Everybody knew what was going on, but I just had to act like I didn't really know. I spent a lot of time wonder, like, who is this? Who could possibly be doing this to me? And for what? And it was just all these things that I compiled. You know, I knew I wasn't dealing with Italians because I'd be in drywall somewhere, you know. And it was Jewish people, basically, because that's how they operate, you know. And I'm not anti-Semitic or anything, but this is how they operate. They operate on a psychological level. They don't want to get their hands dirty. They're going to do things to drive you crazy, because this is how they work. This is what they do, psychological warfare. So yeah, so that's how the mind control comes in here. Because if you break down somebody's mind control, well, they're gonna start acting crazy. They're gonna start having all these episodes. So then you can discredit them as a Looney Tune, and then they're not gonna believe all the things that you're saying that they were doing at said business. So this whole thing, it's just a web of lies and deceit and cover-ups and just craziness. But that was my life. So that's the connection between the MK Ultra, the human trafficking, the gang stalking, and just all the stuff that I went through. So yeah, that's all I have today. I'm sure I'll think of just random different sporadic stories in the meantime. But yeah, questions, comments, concerns. As always, I hope everybody has a wonderful day, and God bless.